Nice job on the rejoin, considering we're about to talk about SNAP benefits and food stamps. A little hungry heart for those who won't be able to eat because Donald Trump is going to cut SNAP benefits. No.
How dare you?
Oh, my goodness. Fox 4 reporting here. Democratic governors are calling out a key component of Republicans' so named, that is their verbiage at Fox 4, big, beautiful bill expected to come up for a vote soon in the Senate. And we'll talk to Josh Hawley about this at 8:35, a half hour away on KCMO. They say more than $200 billion in projected cuts to the SNAP program could hurt people who rely on it for food and state budgets. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly says it will cause chaos in the Sunflower State and lead to some people going hungry. This per the governor of Kansas. See, every time there is a proposal to cut anything that the government does, it's somehow going to cause chaos. And very rarely does it ever actually cause chaos. But it's part of the fear-mongering that if you even consider the possibility of shrinking government and trying to attempt to get our spending under control, you're causing chaos. People are going hungry. Grandma's getting thrown off the cliff. It's the same. I mean, it's the same thing every damn time. It's so old.
My filter was activated on the word could. So at that point on, from there, I was filtering out going, yeah.
Yes.
It could. Might snow today, too.
Yeah, it could. I'm not going to bet on that one, but it could. Here was Laura Kelly to Fox 4.
Kansas's SNAP program helps address hunger and puts healthy food on the table for nearly 190,000 Kansans.
Okay, and this is really about targeting those who do not have children in the home, right, and are single, able-bodied adults. That's who the cuts are intended for. And in a state of 3 million people, this is not 190,000 Kansans who are being targeted here. It's not. There are not 190,000 Kansans out of 3 million who are out there single, able-bodied on food stamps. It's not the number. 190,000 people in the state may have some reliance at some point in time on food stamps, but many of them are not going to feel any impact. You know, if they're a single mother with a couple of kids busting their butts, working their tails off, and they qualify, they're going to keep getting food stamps. And you understand that, right? I mean, I get that. That's not who the intended target is here, for lack of a better word. So this piece goes on to talk about Laura Kelly. It goes on to also hear from the Harvesters folks. Now, Harvesters Community Food Network serves 17 counties in Kansas, 10 in Missouri. As the story notes here, they deliver food for 55 million meals just in the last year. Fox 4 says with the proposed cuts to SNAP, food stamps, community assistance programs could be asked to do a lot more. Stephen Davis is the Harvester CEO. From the projections we are seeing, it would eliminate 7 to 9.5 billion meals that are provided via SNAP. The bill would also extend tax breaks and beef up national security while trimming spending on Medicaid and shift some SNAP funding responsibilities to the state. Okay, I don't want to hear from the Harvester CEO on any of this. I don't want to hear from the guy. A quick search here suggests that the Harvester CEO, a nonprofit in part funded by the government, is pushing, according to some sources, compensation of nearly $300,000 a year. Salary per charity navigator is $231,000. Some sources list his total comp at about $288,000 a year. Chief Resource Officer clearing about $200,000 a year. CFO about $160,000. And listen, I'm all about America, capitalism, making money, making as much money as you can, right? I'm totally cool with that. But the nonprofit world is different, right? Like, it just is. You know what you're getting into in the nonprofit world, especially when you're collecting some of your funding from the government. you then do not go out there and say, if there is a proposed cut against some program, boy, I guess people are just going to go hungry. Like, do you realize the optics of that when it takes me all of 5 seconds to figure out what the comp packages are for these nonprofit folks, to then for them to have them on the back end be like, oh, man, we're going to have people starving on the streets. Says the nonprofit CEO pushing $300,000 in comp. Like, come on. I know that Fox 4 and other local outlets are not going to highlight any of this because that's not their intended purpose. But I think that's relevant information when you hear these people screaming about this stuff and not willing to do 5 seconds of research to wonder, is this really the right messenger for something like this? I certainly don't think it is. So whether it's Governor Kelly trying to say 190,000 Kansans are going to be starving, or the Harvester CEO being like, oh, man, we're going to lose billions of meals per day or, per year because of these potential SNAP cuts. It's like, man, come on. I know everyone's got an agenda, but at least be a little bit intellectually honest about this whole thing, would you please?
I wonder why they're not saying, hey, we're going to kick some people off so that we can better serve the people on there, because they're taking the food out of children's mouths. Yeah. If you're not qualified and you're being a bum, you're draining the system. Why don't they fight for the person that they claim to be fighting for and saying, hey, these idiots are taken away?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Wouldn't you rather the people that need the help the most get the help versus, and then say to yourself, we need to get some of the people who are mooching off the system out of the system, get them out.
They're not going hungry. We're kicking them off the system so we can better serve those that are in actual need.
Yeah. And listen, we're a generous country. We've got big safety nets. We're not getting rid of that. But we know that there is waste, there's fraud, there's people who abuse these systems because for too long, no one's been paying attention. And that's what this is really intended for here. That's it. On the text line, Pete, $231,000 for a CEO is cheap. Yes, it is compared to some major private sector positions. Like, I get that. I understand what you're saying there. But you have to understand, too, how the average median income household in Kansas and Missouri, or just anywhere in the country, is going to perceive this. You have to look at it from that perspective. Like, I understand, yes, there's plenty of people who are not close to being CEOs around Kansas City who are making way more money than that. Like, I understand that. That's not the point, though. Because the optics of the conversation matter when you're also in a nonprofit world where you're just not expected to make nearly as much money as the private sector. Being that guy saying, oh, boy, people are going hungry, it's just not a good look. It's not. Stephen's in Johnson County. What's up, Stephen? You're on KCMO. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning to you. They depend on your ignorance to stay in control. That's the reason why they do what they do. It never changes. It always changes for the people at the top, and they benefit off of you being poor. That's why they fight so hard to keep these programs going. That's what I want to say.
It's an excellent point. What's the old adage? Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Some people are not interested in teaching a man to fish, or a woman, or I guess a they, them. We'll throw them all in. I don't want to be sexist here. But that's absolutely true, right? The more people who are reliant on a government for fish, well, that's good for a preferred political party, is it not? To your point there, Stephen, if you want to create a world where there is continued reliance on the government, and if you're the party of growing government, then you know what? Forget 190,000 people in Kansas on SNAP benefits. Do I hear 290? Do I hear 390?
Where's some popcorn?
How about a damn 12 and a half, 15, $7 and a half, $20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half. I yield back.
Where's my man Billy Long when I need him? That's an excellent point, Stephen, in Johnson County. I appreciate that. 913-408-7957. Also on the text line, if SNAP benefits are so important, maybe these governors should cut out some of their pet projects and fund the difference in their SNAP benefits. Stop with the common sense. Stop with the I've had enough of the common sense.
You muster moo moo moo.
That's enough. We're done with that. That's a good point, though.